So, what's your
I think that they could have
description of the situation, in your opinion?
Okay, well, I think I'm not as informed as you, clearly, right? Definitely not. But what I do know is that there were red alerts. There were warning signs, right, before Russia invaded. One of those, right, in my eyes, was
invasion of Georgia, right?
No, I'm talking about.
That's not a red flag. Interesting.
No. Red flags. Yeah, no, it was a red flag.
Maybe
right?
invasion of Belarus, invasion of Kazakhstan,
Crimea. Absolutely, with you.
Syrian war. No red flags there.
You're so sarcastic. Let me get my point out.
Okay, go on.
My point is that at its base, we have to be really wary of how other people are feeling when we do certain things, and I think it was unnecessary in certain senses. Whether or not it was legal or they were able is a different debate, right? And I agree with you on that. But was it necessary for them to push so hard for EU membership? I'm talking about your country.
What an interesting opinion. So you think we should care about the feelings of the Russians? That's fine.
That's not what I said. Is that what you took from what I said? That's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
That in a diplomatic world, it's important to consider people's emotions, right, and the reasons for their emotions.
That's literally what I said. What's the difference between what I said and what you said?
Because we're talking about consequences. It's not just about caring about
feelings of Russians.
Fine, yeah.
It is what I said.
And the Russians
In order to
didn't
not
care about the
provoke,
Crimean
I think is the key
Tatars that they
point
kicked
there.
out of their own
In order
parliament.
to not provoke, my friend, the Russians have decided to invade Georgia a few years before they invaded Ukraine. What did the Georgians do to the Russians? Nothing. The Russians claimed the Georgians were oppressing the ethnic Russians and the Russian speakers. Nowadays, the Russians are fleeing to Georgia. You know, they invaded Georgia. They took Abkhazia, South Ossetia, and the world basically did nothing, which is very sad, by the way. I think that was a very major red flag. What are you talking about? We should care about the feelings of the Russians. We should care about the feelings of a psychopath who goes around killing people. Oh, we should consider what he's feeling at the moment. We should think what he's feeling. We should try to appease him. Let him kill a few people. He's gonna calm down a bit. My friend, I'm sorry. This is silly, man. You can't seriously come.
No, but I think
to this
that
discussion with this point.
No, but I don't think that I align what he does with a serial killer before the war, right? Right. I wouldn't necessarily say what he was doing was as a state acting on the state's behalf was necessarily. I mean, I'm sure he was a serial killer, no doubt, right? With, domestically, he's done something.
It's just a comparison. I'm not saying Putin is a serial killer.
No, but I think he might be, right? I think he probably is, right? But who knows?
I don't think he kills himself. I think he lets others do the job. Yeah, but go on.
Right. So, well, my point is that was it within their best interest to do what they did and push so hard for a certain agenda? And that's the only point. And on top of that, when you're fighting a country that is going to be hard to fight against, right? What kind of policy is keeping people in that country, right? Why are only 18 between 60-year-olds? Why do they have to stay? Why does the younger generation, the males, have to stay in that country?
I guess you're talking about Ukraine right now.
Surely, if we're pro-democracy or pro-freedom, they should be people should be able to flee. I'm throwing random questions out to you. I don't have an answer to
I think it's very interesting how you're switching the conversation now again.
No, I think
when the previous topic no longer works in Russia's favor. Once again, it's interesting that you say you're not pro-Russian, but there seems to be a very big amount of bias here in your interpretation of the war. You know, you say that we should consider the feelings of the Russians. You're saying, oh, Ukraine is not a real democracy. My friend, look at Russia. Look at what Russia is doing. You go to jail in Russia for admitting that there's a war going on, which, by the way, Putin admitted a few days ago on video. So probably Putin should jail himself. What's your point? What's the main point you're trying to make right here?
The main point I'm trying to make is that I stand for everything that other people don't stand for, right?
What the fuck?
Yeah, no,
What is that?
It's called like
You're contrarian.
Yeah, I'm being contrarian. Yeah, I want to.
Why?
Because I want to unpick your perspective and challenge your. If you were standing in Russia, I'd probably be even more brutal and more partisan against the Russian agenda. Right? And the reason for that is because I probably agree more with the Ukrainian sentiment because it aligns more with how I actually feel about how the world should be going. Okay, so your radar or your barometer of what sort of how I'm conducting myself, or whatever, is fine to have, but it's not quite on. It's not quite accurate.
I mean, you just said you're playing devil's advocate, so obviously you are supporting Russia, but
Yes,
by playing
yes.
devil's
But-
advocate.
no, exactly.
So what's wrong in my interpretation? You just admitted it.
No, your interpretation is that I have an agenda myself, and
I can't read your mind. I can't say if you're just lying to be devil's advocate or if you're being honestly
the reason I'm
honest
jumping
here defending
topics,
Russia.
the reason I'm jumping topics is because not because I have an allegiance with Russia. It's because I want to test you with questions that I feel other people who are more neutral would like to hear an answer to.
Okay, sure, no problem.
So it's a big
I have
difference
no
between
issues
me
with
having
that.
an allegiance with something or
Yeah.
testing your points of view. I'm not coming with points of view. I'm testing yours.
You can play devil's advocate all you want. I have nothing against that. But the thing is, it's very difficult to play devil's advocate for Russia because all of their points are easily debunkable.
You might. Is it just through that?
It's both. Yeah. It's filmed. Yeah, and guys.
Are you both Ukrainian?
No,
No,
I'm
she's not
British.
Ukrainian.
British, okay.
Why did everyone ask
She
me
just
that?
supports the cause.
Yeah.